Hello everyone. In this lesson we'll be discussing about winds and the different types of winds. I am Bhumika Saini. I have done my engineering from NIT Jaipur. You can follow me on Unacademy by following this link. Unacademy courses are free of cost, but if you like the course, you can pay an optional fee by following contribute link on Unacademy. Now, what is wind? Wind refers to horizontal motion of air from high pressure to low pressure. So remember, this is horizontal motion. The vertical motion are called air currents. So how this horizontal motion takes place? Now, heating the air decreases pressure because warm air rises and it creates a low pressure, right? And cool air, it rushes into to replace this warm air. So this is how the horizontal motion takes place from high pressure to low pressure. Now, this winds helps in thermal exchanges in different columns of air across the latitudes, and they also transport heat energy, moisture, and tend to maintain hydrostatic equilibrium in the atmospheric layer. So we can see it here how winds they move from high pressure to low pressure. Now here low pressure is created. Why? Because of the warm air it rises, and here on the ground low pressure is created, and here where the winds are descending high pressure is created. So the horizontal motion of air is known as wind. Now, what are the factors affecting the wind? First is pressure gradient force. This is the main driving force. We have already discussed. Steeper the gradient, higher will be the velocity. The next one is Coriolis force. It is the deflective force due to rotation. So, due to rotation of Earth, there is a deflective force that is known as Coriolis force. Now, if the wind velocity is higher, Coriolis effect will be greater and there will be more deflection. Okay. The third factor affecting the wind is frictional force. Now this is the drag effect that surface features induce on horizontal motion of air. So this frictional force, it modifies both the direction and the velocity of wind. So these are the three factors affecting winds. There are three types of wind mainly. One is planetary winds, monsoon winds or seasonal winds. Third one is local winds. Now, what are planetary winds? These are the general distribution of winds throughout the lower atmosphere is known as planetary winds, and they are confined within certain latitudinal belts, right? And these winds, they blow regularly throughout the year and are controlled by latitudinal pressure belts. So there are mainly three types of planetary winds. One is trade winds, that is northeast and southeast trade winds. The other is westerlies, and the third one is polar easterlies. So you can see it here. These are the polar easterlies, then westerlies, and these are the trade winds, northeast and southeast trade winds. And these are controlled by these pressure belts, these different pressure belts. Okay. Now the second one is the monsoon winds or seasonal winds. Now monsoon means a complete or almost complete reversal of wind direction, right? Now this basically changes from season to season. Now this monsoon winds, these are largest and best developed in the world in Southeast Asia, including India. So how these are created? What happens during the summer, the interior of the continents is intensely heated, right? And that creates a low pressure into which winds are drawn from over the cooling surrounding oceans. You can see this one here. This happens during summer. So due to intense heating of continent, low pressure is created and winds are drawn from surrounding water bodies. And in the winters, just the reverse happens. The continental interior becomes much cooler than the surrounding oceans, and the wind direction is thus reversed, blowing from continental high pressure to the low pressure over oceans. You can see it here. In the winters, high pressure is on the land, and therefore winds move from high pressure to the low pressure in the surrounding oceans. So this is how monsoon or the reversal of winds takes place. Then there are some local winds. In local winds, we'll be studying land breeze, sea breeze, mountain breeze, valley breeze, and some other local winds also. So first, let's study land breeze and sea breeze. So this is a common local wind that affects only coastal areas. So how it happens? During the night, the land becomes much cooler than the sea, right? And thus the cooler, heavier, denser air over the land flows towards the sea, and land breeze occurs. See this one. This is land breeze. So high pressure over the land, low pressure, relatively low pressure over the sea. So the winds move from high pressure to low pressure, that is from the land to the sea. That's why these are known as land breeze. And just the reverse happens during daytime. There is low pressure on the land and relatively high pressure on the sea. So the winds move from high pressure, that is from the sea, towards the land. So this takes place during the daytime, this takes place during the night time. So this is the difference: land breeze during night, sea breeze during day. So this we have already discussed. Cool air sink on land, that is high pressure on the land during night time, and low pressure on the sea during the night time. So wind blows on areas of low pressure to high pressure. You can see this one. As such, land breeze, I told you, they move from the land towards the sea. And similarly in sea breeze, there is low pressure, low pressure, and there is this high pressure along this cool air sinks along the sea. So high pressure on the sea and low pressure on the land, right? So winds will move from the sea towards the land. So this is sea breeze and this one is land breeze. Now let's discuss the valley breeze and mountain breeze. Now in this case, it's somewhat similar to the land breeze and sea breeze. What happens during the day, the air over the mountain slope, it heats up more than the air at the foot of the mountain, right? So a low pressure is created at the top of mountain and high pressure is created at the foot of the mountain. So again, the wind will move from high pressure to low pressure, since high pressure is at the foot of the mountain and low pressure is created at the top of the mountain. Therefore the winds move from the valley to the top of the mountain. You can see it here. This is valley breeze. The wind during the daytime, this one the top of the mountain gets heated, here low pressure, and this is relatively high pressure. So from high pressure to low pressure, so from valley to mountain top. So this is valley breeze. Just the reverse happens during night. This at the top there is high pressure, and at the valley bottom or at the foot of the mountain there is relatively low pressure. So the winds move from the mountain top to the valley. So these are mountain breeze. Now let's discuss some other local winds. For example, Fohn. It is a warm, dry wind that blows down the valleys of north-facing slopes of Alps. So just remember the place where these winds are moving. Whether these are warm winds or cold winds, you need to remember that, and any specific feature of that. For example, these Chinook winds. These are warm, dry, southwesterly winds. They are similar to Fohn in origin. So Fohn, they move in the Alps region. Chinook, they move in the Rockies in North America, right? Then Harmattan, it is a dry and dust laden West African winds that blows southeast from Sahara to the coast, especially between October to February. Now this has a specific feature that its incursion into the coast of Gulf of Guinea, it gives relief to stifling humidity because it is dry and dust, so it reduces humidity in the Gulf of Guinea region, and that is why these winds are also known as doctor winds, right? So you can see this one here Fohn, then here Chinook near the Rockies region, then this one is Harmattan, right? Then other winds are Sirocco. This is hot, dry wind from Sahara to Mediterranean. In Egypt, this wind is called Khamsin. So Sirocco is in Italy. In Egypt, this wind is known as Khamsin. Then Mistral and Bora. These are cold winter winds. Mistral is in southern France, in the Rhone Delta, and Bora is near the Adriatic Sea and North Italy. Then nor'wester, it actually blows during the hot season in North India, and it also is accompanied by rainfall or hailstones. Similarly, Lu, it is a hot and dry summer westerly winds that mainly is prevalent in upper and middle Gangetic plains. You can see this one here, Sirocco, right? Then Khamsin, okay, Fohn, Bora, Mistral, Chinook, right? So these are mainly the local winds. Now let's discuss the differences between the planetary, regional and local winds. So planetary winds, these are global in dimension, these are subcontinental in dimension, these are local in dimension. Planetary winds, these are constant throughout the year. Regional, they have seasonal variation. Local winds, they have local variation. Now planetary winds, they have constant velocity and direction. Regional winds, their velocity and direction change with the season, and local winds, their velocity and direction change daily. So planetary winds, they lead to or they create climatic regimes. For example, equatorial rainforest. Regional, they create seasons. For example, monsoon winds, that is the monsoon season. Local, they bring weather changes. For example, land and sea breeze. Okay, now planetary winds, they are also called primary circulation. Regional are called secondary circulations, and local are called tertiary circulation. Planetary winds help in maintaining latitudinal heat balance. Regional winds, they transport heat and moisture at regional scale. And local winds, they introduce diurnal changes, for example, land and sea breeze. Thank you.